Hey everybody at MD, Bob Chick along with David Baye. We are here in Pittsburgh, and that of course is Manion Country. Big show here. The NPC and the IFBB both representing here, and a big show always by the tag team combination, of course, of our own president Jim Manion and Gary Udit running things here. But all the big names are here. Steve Weinberger judging. Pretty much you name it, you got it here, David.
Here, yeah. And one other thing that this show has been known for, it is the guest posing show to end all shows. I think we have 8 or 9 of the top guys from the IFBB here, including I believe Phil Heath and Kai Green are both here. As you guys on MD all know. Everybody likes to take the pictures of Kai and Phil and compare their off-season shape.
That means a whole lot.
It means everything, right? No, I think everybody. You guys are going to obviously see the pictures tomorrow. And we all know that Phil gets a little bit softer and a little bit smaller in the off-season. Kai stays pretty big and pretty lean, and that doesn't mean a damn thing when it comes time for the Olympia.
Sure don't, brother. Well, let me tell you something. We talk about getting to the Olympia. This is the only stage throughout the year that you actually see the top 8 to 10 bodybuilders in the world on the same stage at the same time, other than the Olympia. So a very big, prestigious event. And, of course, we let the dogs loose. They go running through the audience tomorrow night for the final, so the audience gets a big charge out of that.
I'm excited.
But in addition to the guest posers, of course, we've got some IFBB action here. Over 300 for the NPC, and, of course, you'll see some great amateurs here from a local and surrounding level, David. But the IFBB pros taking the stage. We've got men's physique. We've got bikini and pro figure, so pretty much the ladies, and of course a lot of good guys, man. Just looking at the list for men's physique, very impressive list and some top names on there. Let's get right to it. Who are the favorites here, David?
The favorite has got to be Mark Anthony. This is pretty much the only show other than the Olympia that he's going to do. We just did an interview with him. You guys will see that. He's using this kind of as a warm-up. Him and George are tweaking a few things, trying to get back to his Olympia form. He said he's within about a pound of where he was at the Olympia, so look for Mark to be pretty much exactly where he was at as far as physique-wise. He's got to be the favorite. Jason Poston coming off his win in Orlando. Jason's the sharpest he's ever been as well. So, yeah, I would like to say that Jason's probably going to be in second place, but you never really know with the physique division who's going to show up in what kind of shape.
And a whole bunch of guys named Anderson on there, I understand.
Michael Anderson, who I believe got second in Orlando behind Jason, always comes in really good shape, one of the leanest physique guys. Tyler Anderson won a show out on the West Coast.
And they're not related.
Well, no, Michael's black and Tyler's white, so I can say with a fair amount of...
I didn't know that.
I don't think they're related. No, but yeah, definitely look for some good physique competition. It's a big list of names here for the physique guys that I'm not overly familiar with. But again, this is a division where a lot of guys, we've talked about it, the NPC and the IFBB kind of stock in the pond at some of these national level shows. So you might see some guys whose names you're not necessarily familiar with sneak into that top 5 and place real well.
And that can be impressive because obviously if you can stand in the top 5 next to those guys, you got the reigning physique Olympia champion. Like I say, posting directly off a win just a few weeks ago in Orlando. I was there calling the action for that one. He looked phenomenal. And that was a great lineup. I'll give the men's physique crew, I got to give them a lot of credit, man. They seem to support their own. I mean, these guys are out in full force. We had almost 40 guys or over 40 in Orlando and another big lineup here. So these guys are out supporting the cause, but they all seem fairly friendly in the back. I mean, like you don't see a lot of stare downs and things. I mean, they kind of all seem to help each other and get along.
Yeah, I was backstage in Orlando, and you hit the nail on the head there. These guys are all kind of supporting each other. They were, sometimes they're like a little too supportive. Where's the rivalry here?
Well, if you can't support athletics, be as an athletic supporter.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, but no, these guys all seem to come in real good moods. I think part of that is and this is nothing to take away from the division, they might not be quite as dieted down, quite as depleted as some of the bodybuilders. So that lethargic, I just want to get this over with mentality that you see from a lot of the bodybuilders backstage, that just shows not quite the same way with physique. Happy to be here, happy to be around their fellow competitors, and so it's a really good atmosphere for the competitors.
Well, speaking of good atmospheres, we got a whole bunch of the IFBB's finest when it comes to bikini and figure coming on this stage. I don't know if the girls actually get along as well as the guys. I mean, I think there's a little overview of somebody's going to scratch somebody's eyeballs out back there. But I tell you what, you've got some great competition here, David. What do we got first up on the list?
Figure. We can talk a little bit about figure. Allison Fran is going to be here if I have to pick a favorite off.
Now, she's actually got some new stuff coming out because I understand she's changed trainers. I know she's been working with Tracy Greenwood, former IFBB pro. So I think she's supposed to come out a little bit more filled out and stuff, and that's pretty much what the judges have been asking of her for the last 2 or 3 years. Should be interesting.
Yeah, Allison, if I remember correctly, when she came out on the Olympia stage last year, she was putting her foot down, walking out on stage, and you could see striations in her thighs and her butt. So, I mean, she's got a phenomenal physique, but she has been known for coming in just a little bit too hard. Obviously a hard worker if she's getting into that kind of shape, so you got to commend her for that. But it is a division where being too lean will get her down scored. So look for her to come in, just like you said, a little bit fuller and a little bit softer, and you know, look for her to be right at the top of that list.
Well, she's got some company because while she's one of the favorites, you've certainly got some top names out there, David. I know we were just looking at this list. Give me some rundown. Who else are we looking for as potential top 5?
Camelot Rodriguez. She's obviously going to be up there. Lori Green, a little bit of a question mark. Lori's played.
Lori Schnelly, for those who don't know, she got married. So, but now she's got a very familiar physique that she's made some great changes to, I'm understanding. So we got some girls kind of coming in here looking to change their game plan and, you know, and appease the judging panel. She's done well, but will the changes that she's making, now she's coming in about 8 pounds less, and she's kind of known for her muscularity. You think it'll help her or hurt her?
I would like to think it would help her. I think she was a little bit too bulky for some of her previous shows. You know, she's known, at least in the figure world, as being one of the girls that moves a lot of weight and trains. You know, she really gets
Freak Diesel.
Freak Diesel, you got it. I don't know. I have a hard time with, you know, coordinating, not coordinating, but, you know, tying the word diesel in with the freak, with the physique competitor. But she does train heavy.
You see some of the nicknames I got for some of the bikini chicks, like Terminator and all kinds of.
Yeah, it doesn't quite do it for me. You know, I think those are, you know, like bodybuilder names. Right. I don't know, maybe football.
Who else we got in there? Are we seeing the caliber of like the Jennifer Strobos and those type of girls that are they on the list here?
You know, when we're looking at this list, that is one thing that you're missing, is some of the real big names that we have in figure today. So there's a lot of names that, you know, you guys know, you know, my kind of forte here is bodybuilding. So I am learning my way through figure, but even with this lineup, not seeing a lot of the big names, but that's definitely not to say that these girls aren't going to come out in their best shape. And if there is a show where they're going to make a big name for themselves, might as well be this stage.
Well, great opportunity. Obviously, in the absence of some of the superstars, not always a bad thing, because what we see is the emergence of new superstars coming in, and somebody can establish themselves right off the bat. Listen, you got Olympia qualification up for grabs here, so somebody can be punching their ticket to Las Vegas. On to bikini, my favorite division I happen to be an expert in very much, David. I know all the names, but I got to start giving some of these girls nicknames, man, because that's not creepy. These chicks, they love me, man. Come on. So, what's not to love? Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so give me some lists here now. Bikini, now I'm actually familiar. Listen, I love Janet Liu. I mean, this chick is beautiful, naturally beautiful. She made a huge splash last year coming on. Literally went from local to national to pro overnight. Is she a favorite here?
I would have to say she's right towards the top. The guys on Muscular Development know when she came out at Nationals last year, I said this is going to be a girl who's going to be top 5 in the Olympia within a year or two. She already has her first win under her belt. I think she got 7th at the Arnold against essentially the same lineup as we saw at the Bikini Olympia. It is a tough competitor list. So we have Stacey Alexander, who got, I believe, 5th place at the Olympia.
Stacey's very consistent, I see.
Third at the Olympia, I believe, 5th at the Arnold, and then 2 runner-ups in Australia and New Zealand. We have Cicherillo here, Amanda Latona.
We're talking Lacey DeLuca.
Lacey DeLuca and Sarah LeBlanc, who we just saw coming off a win.
Sarah LeBlanc coming off of some wins. Stephanie Mahoy also in this one here. And we've got some girls out of the States that could be making a splash. I mean, so we've seen a few girls making the big trip, and these girls are very good.
Yeah, this is an extremely competitive pro bikini show. I wouldn't say it's quite up there with the Olympia and the Arnold, but aside from those 2 shows, this is as competitive as a list as we've seen so far this year.
And a big list.
and a big list.
I love it.
I love it. I think if I don't think I'm going out on too far of a ledge and agreeing with you, and I say Janet could be the winner, and it'll be interesting to see her against Yashira and Stacey and Amanda. You know, Janet's had some time to improve from the Arnold. You know, that was her first pro show. Obviously, a huge way to jump into the IFBB. Still got 7th there, and she's had some time to improve. So, I think it's as far as a bikini lineup, it's fantastic.
Well, she's gonna have to get by some of the perennial favorites like Stacey Alexander, like Sarah LeBlanc, again, fresh off of 2 victories in a row. What's interesting to see is that, unlike bodybuilding, the competitors in figure, especially bikini and men's physique, do not rest on their laurels once they've got a qualification. They seem to keep coming out over and over and over and competing throughout the year, which I like to see. I like to see an Olympia champion kind of putting it all on the line, or a top 5 Olympian putting it out on the line, not worried about, well, if I get beat and all the strategies that go in. Get out and compete.
Yeah, the thing is a lot of these people they're business people as well as they are competitors. And when we talk about bodybuilding, there obviously is that component of how many times can you peak for a show between the Olympia and some of these smaller shows. With bikini, men's physique, not quite as much as figure. The figure girls are coming down a lot further. With men's physique and bikini, a lot of these competitors stay in really good shape all year round. We just talked to Mark Anthony. Obviously this is the only show he's doing, but he stays within 10 or 12 pounds of his contest weight. Jason Poston, I think, says he stays within 8. He's got a lot of photo shoot opportunities and things like that. And that's a component with bikini and men's physique and even figure that you don't see with bodybuilding, is these people have a lot of modeling opportunities and stuff. Bodybuilders, nobody wants any pictures of a bodybuilder unless they're in contest shape.
I did.
Bob did. They show up at the shows, they line up a bunch of shoots right after the shows. With your bikini and your physique competitors, they have stuff going on all year round, so they stay in good shape. So why not compete all year round? An extra, the prize money we know isn't huge for those divisions, but if you're talking about raking in an extra $3,000 to $5,000, here and there, that adds up quite a bit. Well,
and it adds up to opportunities sometimes, David. Not so much for the money. People always ask, why would you do this for a plastic trophy? Why would you do this for a thing? Well, it's for none of the above. No bodybuilder ever got into bodybuilding for the money. I mean, that's a given. You got into it for the love of the game, but you don't do it for the plastic trophy, and you don't do it for the small amount of money. What you do it for is the opportunity and the opportunity to compete. Some of these people, you just want to see how they stack up against the other best in the world. And you know what? We've seen a whole bunch of athletes come up with contracts, come up with supplement company deals and representing them, and plenty of other things. A lot of them personal trainers looking to just increase their resume, and obviously that helps in the business. So, the reasons are many, obviously, but you can see that there's more than one ways to skin a cat when it comes to being a professional in the world of the IFBB. All right, Dave, well, thanks for that wrap up on the pregame here. Keep yourselves glued, folks. We are going to be here all weekend long. MD will be bringing you all kinds of interviews. We got lots of champs here, from Jay Cutler to Phil Heath and Kai Green and everybody in between. And Adela Garcia, I understand, is here. Don't be surprised to see if she comes out mixing up with the guys. She likes to kind of yank their chain a little bit. So my money's on Adela, actually. Although Kai could probably get her a pretty good run in the handstand department. So we'll see how that works out.
I'm not a big...
Of course, he's 300 pounds.
Yeah. His headstands need a little bit of work. For a guy that big, it's impressive that he pulls it off. I don't think you're going to quite see the balance that we'll see out of Adela in the handstand.
If he can take stairs up to the podium is enough for me. That's impressive. Well, folks, again, that wraps it up here in Soldiers and Sailors. We're in Pittsburgh. Keep tuned all weekend long. We'll be coming back with updates and, of course, the big wrap-up after we conclude the night show tomorrow night. For David Baye, this is Bob Chick signing off.